Ethan and Jack, welcome to Cabin and Clearing Podcast. These guys are part of Neighbourhood Noise, which is starting to get some traction, as we can see online. Like, I was looking at your following from Neighbourhood Noise, like when you had like, I think 30 followers, and I checked a couple months later and you're at like 700 or something. So it's like the posting is consistent. So I'd like you guys to tell me about that. Like, basically, where do you even come up with the whole concept of Neighbourhood Noise? And yeah, tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I went to when the pandemic hit, I like went back to school, and I did journalism at Algonquin.
Okay.
And about halfway through my like 2-year program, Jack hit me up and was like I've known Jack since we were like 5 years old. We used to live like right behind each other, and he hit me up. And we used to play music and stuff, and he hit me up, said he liked my writing, and had this idea for kind of bring attention to the Ottawa scene, bring everything together. Mm-hmm. It's like, from what we were seeing, like the Ottawa music scene is so full of pockets. Like you know, everybody in the pocket knows each other, but nobody knows each other outside of that, you know, in genres or even age. And
that's such a good point.
Yeah, so we wanted to bring that together, like other scenes, like a Toronto or like a Montreal, like where it's a lot bigger, and really bring everything together. But it really started with Jack. Like, he had the idea. It was awesome.
Like Ethan said, and like we were talking about before, I did the program at Algonquin, and like, funny enough, you probably unintentionally had a lot to do with it, but like, just growing up, like, obviously, like, knowing Ian and you and shit, like, I started playing guitar, started getting into music like way more heavily in high school, and that was right around the time that I was hanging out with Ian more, seeing you guys play at like Black Sheep, Bar Robo, wherever I shouldn't be underage type deal.
That's it.
And
sorry guys.
But so like that definitely was a big thing, because I kind of started to realize like, oh, like I'm listening to like classic rock albums that obviously everybody knows, but then I'm like going to see Blast from the Sun, I'm going to see the Gravelines, like Onion Face, like all like Tree, like those bands and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is cool, and it's like local, and so that was kind of my introduction to it. And then obviously I've known him forever. We were playing music like in my garage, just kind of doing high school band type stuff.
We were jamming on like rock band shit as like kids, like in front of the computer, listening to like Guns N' Roses on like the rock band stuff, playing out. Just
daydreaming basically. Yeah. But
that's where it starts.
But then, so I after high school, I did the program at Algonquin. Started learning more about the industry, I guess, and just kind of getting into it. And one thing that kind of sucked was like a lot of teachers just trying to be helpful. They were trying to like point students in the direction of where they should go to kind of like make it per se. I didn't like hearing all the time that it's like, oh, you got to go to Montreal, you got to go to Toronto, you got to go to Vancouver, you got to do whatever. And I was like, all these people are here doing really cool stuff. Like, why can't we just get people to pay attention to it? And then, like Ethan said, he was doing that type of stuff, and I was like, I know the music side of it, like, sort of. At least I'm trying to. And he knows how to at least make it look like professional and like legible and like not illiterate. So
that's
I
like
hit
my
him
issue.
up. So I hit him up and I was like, yo, I have this idea. Definitely can't do it alone. So that's kind of where it started.
That's sick.
That's
awesome. And just for people who are listening visually and audio, what program are you referencing?
The music industry arts program at Algonquin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out Colin Mills. Shout out all the teachers.
Yeah, shout out big time. I took that course too. I fucking loved it, man. That was one of my favorite years my whole life.
It's so nice.
Yeah, this is why I'm still doing this kind of thing.
Wait, is that the intro or the full one? You went to the full one, right?
I did both.
You did both.
I did the intro. I started the intro in September of 2019. And then I finished the full one in August of 2021.
Okay.
Nice.
It's funny because you did both too, right?
Yeah. And funny enough, like you were saying about being inspired and stuff, it's funny, he convinced me to take the intro course back in the day.
There you go.
I was like finally just like got my shit together and finished adult ed after high school. And I was like, yo, man, like I gotta get going with life, you know. And he was just like, dude, you should try the course. It costs like, you know, $5,000-6,000 or whatever. You could probably pay for it yourself, you know, at least it gets you in. And then if you want to take it from there. And I was like, fuck, you're right, man. Like, and I just like, just loved it.
Did the whole thing.
Did the whole thing.
So good.
Took a year, you know, built up some money and did the next one.
Yeah. It's really good. Like they really teach you. You dip your toes in everything. You learn kind of a bit of everything, and then you get the chance to pick.
And what were you referencing when you were talking about like you have to move to Montreal or you have to like which program was that the intro or was that later on?
That was, I mean, it was definitely like a point that they would touch in the intro thing, but obviously the intro is a little bit shorter, and they're trying to touch on so many things that they can't go as in depth. But the full program specifically, when talking about like the music business class, for example, like they would talk about a lot how like there's the kind of main hubs in Canada, and like that's where it's really popping, that's where the scene is. And not that you necessarily have to go there, but you should at least be pointing your focus towards there for like promotion and stuff like that. You don't have to live there, but you at least got to be playing there, kind of thing. So that's kind of why I was just like, there's so many people here that are just doing cool stuff. Let's do it in Ottawa.
You make a great point, and it's like it can kind of help balance out Ottawa and the perspective that people have on the city, that it's like more of a government, you know, type of town. Like it's like there's so much cool creative art all the time, and I agree. Like it's like it deserves a light instead of just siphoning it into these other kind of places.
That's the thing. It's like it gets saturated a little bit too. Like like obviously you hear people talk about like, yeah, of course I want to go to Montreal or whatever, but it's like I go to Montreal, then it's like you have to then make it in Montreal.
There's so much.
Yeah, you're more in the mix, and it's like you could shine out here, and then it's like you could just play in Montreal and be an Ottawa artist. That's, you know.
And like the biggest thing was like you were saying, like just getting local focus on it, because like I love Ottawa. I've been here forever. He's been here forever. Like it's nice here, and like
it's not bad at all.
We hear lots of people, at least in our age, at least in my friend group, like, oh man, like there's nothing going on in Ottawa, and I'd be like, well, actually, like there's this show going on, let's go, that kind of thing. And then they'd be like, oh cool. And like even in like the last little bit, my friends who are like not really into like the local music scene have like started going more, and they're like loving it, so it's been cool.
Man, I agree with that, and I'm glad you kind of bring that up too, because it's like there's also like a really, really thorough hip hop scene out here, and that's what's kind of cool. Is like you said about being a part of it and doing what we're doing as like Neighbourhood Noise and Cabin and Clearing, is like just kind of like having everyone integrated together and hopefully shine a light onto the different genres and get everyone in the different, like, you know, even though we low key kind of do know each other in the music scene, there's always that kind of still that bridge. Or that gap, sorry. So we should bridge the gap is what I meant to say. But yeah, and because we could like almost do like, you know, multitudes of different events and different, you know, stuff, and really shine a light on the scene. Hopefully.
Well, that's kind of where it started, and then we were basically just like, all right, so this is the idea. How are we gonna do this in a sense? Like
you need to be there to actually like take pictures or whatever, right? Is that why you got into photography?
I'd always done it because like I grew up skateboarding. Grew up just like being like in like reading Thrasher magazine, watching a lot of like Will Strobeck and stuff like that. So I got really into like the just aesthetic of it. So, and then naturally as I got more into music, I got into like concert photography and stuff. So through high school, I like tried to do it, but it was hard to get into shows, and I just didn't really know what I was doing. But then I slowly like focused on it more, and then like he actually like learned how to do proper photography like in his program, because I was just going off of like YouTube and stuff like this. But then I'd like go shoot a show, edit the photos with him. He'd be like, yo, you should do this and this, and like so
sick.
It's a great program, that journalism program, because
where'd you take it, sorry?
At Algonquin.
Okay,
it's just like a 2-year program, so it touches on so many different aspects of beyond just journalism. Like a lot of the people I went to school with had either started like one of the university ones, or there's like a bridge program where you do 2 years at Ottawa U and 2 years at Algonquin. And Ottawa U's a lot of just English classes, like really focusing on how to write, where the program at Algonquin just kind of trusts you can write, and you're going to figure that out through practice, because that's the only way to do it.
And
so we learn a little bit of like audio mixing, like how to do like a podcast, because that's where this is going. Like I did TV, like broadcast news, radio broadcast news,
really,
but also like web development and photography and videography and everything. So it
probably
really,
social media too.
Yeah, everything, like the business of journalism and where it's headed, rather than just, you know, figure it out and throw you to the wolves. You write for the school paper, the school magazine, everything. And then I had like a placement in my last few weeks. So like I wrote for like a real paper, and it's a lot of fun. Like, you know, we're taking this really seriously, but at the same time, like we're still young, we're still figuring everything out. And it's fun to kind of roll through Neighbourhood Noise and see, like, once we get really comfortable doing what we're doing, now it's time to grow. Now it's time to try something new, right? So like at first, we didn't even have a website. We were just writing articles and then posting them as PDFs on a link tree. And then once we got used to that and like doing the interviews and doing the writing, then I got to use that like next step of my program, design a website. And then
what did you use for host?
We host on, I think it's called like WebGator. It's like a WordPress site. So the web development classes, we didn't have enough time, unfortunately. Like I think the program should focus a lot more on that, but it is very hands-on. So I did learn a little bit of like HTML and CSS. So I don't need like block builders. Like I can kind of create it myself.
Templates.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I
do
know how to create it myself and use plugins and everything. So that was a lot of fun. And then, you know, we were there, and now we want to do this promotion. So we're going to work on that. Like, as you guys already mentioned, like we have a show on October 31st.
Yeah.
It's going to be our first show. It's a Halloween show, but also kind of like a 1-year anniversary almost of Neighbourhood Noise, and the, you know, the amazing growth we've been able to see in that year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because it feels like I remember I was in like, my apartment was like under maintenance. I got like temporarily moved to like basically like this hotel apartment, and I met with Ethan over Zoom, and then we were like talking about the ideas of like, yeah, we're gonna do this or whatever, and we're like, okay, but like how are we actually gonna like do it? Like how are we gonna put it out? How are people gonna see it? What are we gonna advertise it as or whatever? So I had the name from like an old high school project that just never panned out, and I was like, this kind of works better for this. At least like it fits more. So I was like, let's call it this. And then we obviously needed something to put it behind, because we knew our plan, and still is our plan, is to eventually like grow our team and kind of get bigger and bigger.
That's awesome.
So we didn't want like it to be like anybody to be the face or anything like that. So then we got our logo, obviously. Got my buddy Jazz, another day one homie, Jazzuzu Audi in there. He got the logo for us, and then we started posting on Instagram in October. And now, a year later, we're doing like our Halloween.
So are you and your buddy the people?
No, we have two others actually. Yeah. It was after the first article, we had somebody reach out, and just this really nice message. Her name's Erica, and she wanted to edit, and we've been able to like kind of transition her into writing as well. So we do have Erica and then Scott as well. They do a lot of the writing, which is nice. It allows us to almost grow a little bit more instead of having like one or two people writing. Like we have them, and then I can focus more on like the website stuff and helping edit and everything. So we have a surprisingly like big team of like 5 people for what we are, but it's nice.
That's awesome. Another question I wanted to ask you guys is that I see that you guys are an indie blog. Is that just catered to, is that your niche? Is that where you guys are stopping, or do you think you're just gonna just do everything? Like you would even, you know, walk into hip hop or like see artists around like the city. What's your take on that?
So the indie part, as I guess, was more of like a description. Yeah, it's more going like independent, not so much the genre.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because for us, like we're just doing this because we like to. We're not making any money or anything like that.
At the end of the day, no matter where it grows, it'll be you at the forefront of it.
I mean, same here. We're in the same boat. I mean, we're pretty sure we all have jobs and shit, and like we're just hustling on the side.
And straight up, that's what gets me fired up, is that you guys are kind of in the same boat. Like that's exactly why we started this. Is the same thing. We were just like, fuck, let's just try it.
I think we started around the same time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I remember we launched and then you guys shared our thing and I was like, wait, what's this? And then like through Facebook I was like, wait, this is Justin.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. And it was like 30 followers. And then you guys just fucking boom.
Yeah, you guys I actually we use an old account and we just completely it was already 3 followers for a music page on Instagram.
But it was all like close people from high school and stuff that liked his music.
But we just transferred that. Like I completely gutted that account, kept the followers, and then just kept growing it a bit. So, that's how we did it for that. But we did.
So kudos to you for growing so fucking quickly. Like,
that's awesome, man.
That's badass.
It's just lots of late nights at shows, talking to people and trying to network, as disgusting as that sounds.
Okay, so indie to clarify means independent, I guess, right? Because you have that like indie genre, right, as well too, right?
For sure.
Which is kind of derives from independent, but so you don't think in a way that you're gonna ever niche to that specific genre of music, or do you think in the future, like if you want to cover hip hop, for instance, or just like all music in general?
We kind of try to cover everything because the first article was with Neon Ghost House just because we knew them, and it was like, all right, this is a perfect
sick band.
And there was like a sick, all right, we can test this. If it flops, it's like, sorry guys. Not necessarily like no harm, no foul kind of thing. But after that we've done some stuff in hip hop, the indie rock, punk.
Oh, nice.
And we've done like some metal stuff, like album reviews and stuff. And I personally know more about like the rock kind of indie rock scene. That's more of the stuff I know. But I slowly have been like meeting more people in the hip hop scene and the metal scene, just like because I work at Long and McQuaid in Orleans. Shout out all the homies there. So I work with a bunch of metalheads and they've been putting me on to the metal scene and stuff like that. So
you've probably cool. I don't know if you've ever called like the Canada location before.
All the time.
Okay, have you talked to Randy before? A guy
named
Randy?
Okay,
Randy's the guitarist in Salem Trials.
Okay.
He's our old roommate, actually.
Yeah, and I was gonna say shout out to them, by the way. I'm going to do a rage set with them after this. But no, I was gonna say if you actually want to delve into like a metal, I know they'd probably be down to interview and like fucking talk about their album and stuff with you guys. Like,
who's
if you
working there?
Ask them and stuff.
I think some guy named Will.
There's a couple homies at the Canada location.
I don't know if he still works there. Will.
He used to work at the Orleans location.
Yeah. Okay. He used to work there. He's like a jazz country fucking guitarist. Yeah. He went to university with Andrew and Harrison there.
Yeah. Exactly.
In the program,
yeah. Like I know Cole from Backseat Dragon and Sorry Snowman. I'm pretty sure works at the Canada location. Same with Gabe from Future of Free. There's a lot of homies out there.
You used to work at Canada location.
Sick.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I got in the weed industry.
Nice. Closely related.
Yeah, exactly. Music and weed, they go hand in hand.
So what was this So you guys are hosting a show? Is this like you organizing a full on show?
Yeah, like as a promotion company,
no way.
Yeah, we reached out to the bands like a few months ago. It's our first time, so we wanted to like give ourselves plenty of time to figure it all out. But it should be awesome.
We're like, when we started this thing, our initial idea was to sort of get in the ground level just from being a kind of a blog promotion, just supporting stuff, getting like a spotlight on it. But we plan to eventually branch into other things a little bit bigger and stuff like that. And one of those things I really wanted to do was start getting into like putting on shows and stuff like that.
Wow.
Just because it's, through this process over the last year, we've met a lot of really, really talented, cool people that I want to like help support in other ways. So it's like the next step is obviously putting on shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, like actually like booking like bands and stuff. It just gets a little complicated too, though. Like if you're getting really serious about it, like you have to like, make sure that everybody agrees to like, contracts or some type of like form of payment. Like it can get serious, and especially like, I could imagine like just from gigging live and like, what's that one company like Omniums Rock? I don't know if you guys ever know that, or there's another one, Landmark Events. Like basically these companies that are like from Montreal, or I don't know if they're from Montreal, but they like basically like have these events where you could win something and like you have to sell a shit ton of like that's something I fucking hate is sell to play. Yeah. And I'm not ripping on Mavericks. I'm not saying that specifically for Mavericks, but they had the event at Mavericks and it was like you have to sell a certain amount of tickets. That's just something I don't like, because then the money goes to them. And then just for you to bring people to like, you know what I mean? And it's like pay to play. It's bullshit. Out west, people like literally like pay you just to play, where regardless if you're bringing a crowd out or not, you know. And that's what I think
value
Ottawa
gets
lacks
lost.
a little bit too. The value gets lost because it's like the venue's relying on you. Like they don't like necessarily want to just give you $400 for like 2 sets for like, you know, and then if people come, then they come. You know? It's like a bit kind of shafty in a way, in my opinion. You know, it's kind of shitty. So
we are trying to. That's a goal, is to keep it like as fair as possible. Like
yeah,
we're obviously not in it to like it'd be nice to make some money, like and honestly like eventually be able to do it as a job and like really support the scene. But that's secondary. We just want to support the scene and work with artists and like really give them a place for their talent. So even like we want to be as fair as possible to the artists we book, and any money we get goes right back in. Like it's not going in our pockets. We're not
like non-profit almost.
Exactly. We're not going to go like buy a new car because of it. Like,
you sure? You guys don't want like a Tesla or something?
We're going to put it into the website. And
Jack's like,
just make sure to wrap it. You know, it's company Tesla.
Yeah, exactly.
Read it out.
Logo on the hood.
Gone electric.
That's the goal. Like, not trying to compete with anybody, but everybody working together.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there's so many talented people, and you know, we're not selfish. We're not trying to like make it about ourselves. Like, if somebody else wants to work and we can help in any way, like that's the goal.
Agreed.
That's
and
awesome.
that's why it would be like Neighborhood Noise, Cabin in the Clearing. You know what I mean? Like, it's two things together because that's the thing is, like you guys just said, like if you hustle enough and you put your shit on the line and you got like a genuine approach like we both do, it's like we're gonna stand out regardless. But like as each other's individual podcasts or vlog, you know, that kind of thing. But it's like it doesn't mean we can't work together, like you said. You know, it's just like if anything, we're just both helping each other rise even higher.
Absolutely.
And like
Yeah.
And I mean, it's all about the music and the fun in the end, right? And the community. That's all it's about. Like, it's
all
not
it
about
is.
the money.
It's about the fun times of the shows.
So you guys would classify yourselves as like a blog, right? Like that's like the initial thing was like, oh, we're gonna write about like current and upcoming things that are going on in the city, and then now in a way like your future is keep that aspect of it, right? But also using that kind of aspect to use for promotion and for booking artists and starting to go into that kind of world of booking shows and yeah, that's cool.
For sure.
That's
like
awesome.
even on our Instagram, like every Monday we post all the shows we've been able to find that are coming up this week. Every Friday, all the new releases we can find. Like, it's beyond just the writing. Like it's just about a central place to find what's going on in Ottawa. Like, even though we're putting on our own shows, we're still going to promote other people's shows because that's the goal.
Yeah.
You know, like,
that's awesome.
Really have a place that you can go look if you're trying to, you know, learn about the Ottawa music scene. Like, we want to kind of be where you go.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's so dope.
Is there any like, have you like, well, not competitors, but like, is there any like people who are already kind of doing that? I think Mike Books, I know Mike does that, right?
Yeah, and then there's like
Apartment 613,
Spectrasonic or whatever. does
Spectrasonic,
that shit,
and Music Art and People.
it's
I
all
think.
different kinds of.
Oh, you mean like putting on shows type
Yeah.
thing?
No, not putting on shows, but just like blogging. Like Apartment 613, I think does that.
Yeah,
right?
they do
sorry,
some
yeah,
stuff.
Spectrasonic would be more booking shows actually.
They do. There's. I know they do like a bit of everything, but it's Down to the Wire.
Yeah,
The
actually, I
Wire.
know those guys. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
pretty-
They just
Yeah.
did like a bunch of stuff for the Cranium Arts Festival that happened.
Yeah.
The other, it was super dope.
Sick.
I know of those are like the only main ones I know of. But like when we started to do this thing, one of the main inspirations was definitely Ottawa Showbox.
Oh yeah. Ottawa
Sick, dude.
Showbox is fucking
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they unfortunately, I could be wrong, but I think they stopped
Okay.
doing
I
their
think so
thing.
too. Yeah,
Really?
they might have come back, but I know like
shit.
I know they at least took a
when we
break.
started, the pandemic had kind of because even
Because
my
I haven't seen stuff from them.
even my program in Algonquin, like there was a joint like kind of deal with Showbox and Algonquin where like we would write for them, and like
No
I
way.
didn't get the chance to do that because they had kind of
Oh shit.
unfortunately like the pandemic didn't help them
Another-
at all.
Yeah.
Another really sick one that they do like more physical stuff. They've put on some shows and they've done some. I at least from what I've seen, it's mostly like actual like physical printed like zines type thing. But Capital Noise is doing some really
Capital
cool
Noise,
stuff.
yeah.
They have like
Cool.
physical zines that you can actually buy and stuff. They're really really cool.
Yeah. You just reminded me of one that is Capital City Hip Hop. Is another
Yeah.
one that does.
Yes,
like,
of
Oh yeah,
course.
Cap City Hip Hop.
Yeah,
I
of
follow
course.
them on Instagram. So yeah. they're really on point with their news, eh? Like,
Oh yeah.
It's like every fucking day. It's like, actually, another question. What are you guys using to manage all of this? Do you use any applications like Canva, for instance? We use Canva.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys use that at all. But
A lot of Canva for the Instagram, like it's because you get all the proportions, right?
You
like
pay for it and everything?
No, we still.
Well, I don't pay for it, but my mom works at Ottawa U, and she hooked me up with like a spot in her lab class, so I have the pro version.
So yeah, the pro version's sick. There you go. That's we pay for it. We split it. It's like $8 each. It's like 16, but yeah, that's what we're doing too. And even the content planner, man, is actually pretty dope. Like you can like really like something that we actually that we're gonna like that we're doing right now is, you know, yeah, I'm sure you guys know Gary V.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's, you know, there's obviously some type of like, you know, he's what do you say, the controversial, I guess you could say, but he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? So anyway, but I take the social media aspect from it. Yeah, I can see you're kind of laughing.
I mean, he knows how to make a social media for sure.
Yeah,
he's he knows how to make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
Whether that something is good or not.
That's
the question. But he does you can obviously like take some from it because he does like garner a following pretty quickly.
But just like the aspect of like taking like your initial like content and then finding a way to repurpose it and spreading out over different like, you know,
Big time.
You know, that's what I'm taking from
Yeah,
it,
especially
you know?
actually it goes back to what I mentioned to you guys earlier about like having people sit and want to watch a whole podcast. It's super long. It's like sometimes people just aren't as engaged, so it is nice to have like a 5-10 minute clip of like, you know, like an excerpt of like your favorite part of a podcast.
Or just even take an audio snippet and put something like from Canva with like a picture in the background, like 60 seconds, and like just post that, you know, like we just posted like
I was gonna say,
like
you guys, I saw you did like the other day, right?
Yeah. So like, you know, I scheduled that until like, you know, February, like every 2 weeks. So
it's all a funnel, right? You pick your main part, and for us, it's obviously like our website. But it's really hard to naturally get people to go to a website, especially younger people, right? Like we're not checking websites every day to like read the news.
No.
So you have to find where the crowd is and funnel them into where you want them. So yeah, like with us, it's really our Instagram that we use as a funnel because that's where a lot of this stuff is.
And it's tied to Facebook. It's, you know,
everything.
It's LinkedIn.
Yeah. So it's I think that's really helpful, and it touches a lot on your point of like, you have your initial product and then you repurpose it everywhere. You know, and then you bring them in. So we put like little excerpts on like our Instagram posts, like read a little bit of what we have. If you like it, go to our website.
Totally. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it is it's cool. Even though it is generally a tactic, you know, if you look at it like cut and dry, it's a tactic to get people to look at your shit. It's a tactic to get more attention and things like that and flow. But we're not also using like fake things or fake it's like we are genuinely using, like you said, like little excerpts of what we say, and like so it's still genuine at the core. It's just another way, especially in a very like
TikTokification world.
TikTokification,
you know, that's why they have YouTube
instant
Shorts.
gratification.
It's crazy. It's like that's why YouTube's creating shorts. Just like you know what I mean.
And YouTube
nuts.
like view bots those shorts. YouTube wants you to use those so badly that if you use them, like that's the other big part about like any kind of online presence, and I'm sure you guys see that too, is you just always have to change. Even in the year we've been around, like stuff has changed, and like things that were working in the beginning don't work anymore because the platforms have evolved past it. And YouTube Shorts is a big one that like you got to get on early, and then you got to like use the shit out of it until people hate it and then move on. Because if you keep using it, then you're old. But it works, but it is like you're always learning, which is hard. Like you guys, when you're working like a full-time job too. You're working 2 full-time jobs at the same time.
Basically, like even like editing, you know, this podcast, you know, if we do like a full hour of whatever talking, you know, like it's like that's like it's like 3 hours of like just like cutting and then putting the other one. And that's in, I didn't know how to video edit before this. I figured it out. You know what I mean? I'm not a video editor, but I mean it's not hard. You know,
I'll tell you, the first 2 hour one we had took us like fucking 8 hours to edit.
It's so long just to video like 10 and 1. Like, but we split it up, so it's like, you know, we do like an hour and a half each or something. We're like, if we really just sit down, we could probably, you know, beast it out in 2 hours.
That's why I'm confident I can make a music video. I feel like if I had the footage, I feel like I could make.
Well, we're gonna make a music video. We recorded we produced our own.
Dude,
like, it's basically like a joke of trap. Like we'll show it to you guys after. It's actually funny. And so like we're like it's called socks. Having socks in a sauna. Then we're gonna like use like socks as like our fucking like phone instead of money. So like a thing of socks, and we'll have like duffel bags of socks. So we're making like a spoof trap song and shit. And we actually like we did it.
But it's actually lit. It's like the beat is so good.
But he does Ableton, right? And he like actually makes beats and shit. Yeah. So he like made a hard fucking beat with like Splice like plugins and shit.
Okay.
Like, and then our homie Jacob just mastered it so well. Like he's so good at mixing. Oh yeah, he mixed it as well, which actually was very key.
He went to school. What city did he go in? Hamilton. No.
I think so. Oh Hamilton? Shit, yeah, I'm blanking on the city. Fuck. I think it was Hamilton.
Hamilton. Anyway, he went to audio production in Hamilton. So like, he's like a electronic kind of like music producer, but he mastered it and like super pro. So if you bump this in a car, it sounds great. You know what I mean? And so he mix and master.
It's like.
But then we're gonna make our own fucking video. We're probably gonna rent out an Airbnb that has like a sauna just for one night, so we can get some fucking sick like really fucking nice footage and shit. Like just like like.
If you guys want to join in on that, man, like just be like auxiliary people in the scene. Yeah. You want to have like a couple homies sitting there with like drinks and shit.
I'll just be there in a robe in the sauna.
Yeah, sunglasses at night, tinfoil on the teeth, like.
Yeah, that's word. That's our like spoof project kind of thing, because we have a secondary YouTube page that we call For Shits, and so it's everything that we're doing that's fucking stupid for shits, and we just slap it on YouTube, and who knows if it'll go viral or not. It's just for fun, like it's a little side project, you know what I mean? So
that's awesome.
But again, you gotta have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just fun to do, man.
But going back to shorts on that fucking YouTube fucking channel, that you're absolutely right that eventually it will get old and you will have to replace it. But we had 6 subscribers on that For Shits YouTube, and I posted this stupid thing where I'm just like walking like running on the ground on my 4 legs like a monkey, and it's literally like 6-second video. And I was just like, monkey see, monkey do. Mm-hmm. And I woke up and like we're plus 30 subscribers, and the video has 23,000 views. Yeah. And I was like,
that's people were commenting like, "Yo, can relate."
Yeah. It was like the funniest stupid thing.
Same. But it was like one of those like the angle was like from the top of the stairway right here,
and like running up the stair. Like it's the stupidest thing, you know what I mean? And then I'm fucking like it's crazy what it does, man.
But it's engagement, and that's the thing is that. He's just fucking around, and it's just a joke or whatever, and maybe that little thing doesn't have like the most divine meaning behind it or anything, but it's like hopefully people will just see it or like laugh, and then maybe someone genuinely catches one of our podcast links, and then like listens to it, and then they're like, oh, well, this is nice, So it's like it's always with good intention.
But even with shorts, so like even just like a little video of like playing guitar or something real quick, and then you upload it to my actual like artist YouTube page because it's serious, I would say. So just a little quick riff that's like 25 seconds. And then, and then boom, it's slow. Like I can already see it. Like I've already gained a little bit of following just doing that, Yeah. So it's very interesting. Again, you don't have to be in Montreal or Toronto to you have the internet at your disposal, so you should be.
Ottawa's lit, man, because we're here,
It's true. You gotta elevate the local scene though, for sure, So it's cool. It's cool what you guys are doing. I think it's unique too in a way. Like going back to what I was saying earlier, I don't think there's that many other people who are doing it. And if other people did, maybe they're stopping. So like you guys are kind of like rising up into place.
Yeah. And it's about like doing things quickly. I feel like at first we had a lot of meetings of like, when should we start this? Like we obviously like a year ago we weren't like still like in the pandemic, like full lockdowns, but there was still a lot of restrictions, and we had a lot of back and forth on whether or not we should wait and like do this later when it's fully back or start now, and I was always on the side of like, let's do it now, because why not start now when there isn't a lot to do and we could put everything into it, and then like get it done now so that later we have like a polished product when we can do it a lot more.
Yeah.
Like,
that's so fair.
That's really good.
Where do you guys see yourselves within the next 2-3 years? Like what ideally do you want to be doing on a regular?
I mean, kind of like you were saying, we had what is it? We wrote out a plan. So like one of my projects in school was to write out just like a plan to do after school that's like related to like music business or whatever. And like realistically, my plan was just to like play music, like because at the time I was in a band, and I was just trying to go that route. So I kind of did the project, didn't really think too much about it, just did it from like, this would be a cool idea, but it's all hypothetical or whatever. And then finished school. Band didn't turn out, and then and like I was not working like anything related to music, so I was like, okay, if I want to actually use everything I just learned, I should probably start doing something. So I was like, hey, I have this plan, we'll go with this, and it was so far we're kind of going along the plan pretty like line for line almost. Obviously, we've had our hiccups and we've gone ahead and slower in some cases, but
shows how it keeps you on track though.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking how much we've stuck to the plan, but like right now, like we're just doing the blog thing, we're doing the interviews, just trying to do the promotion.
Oh, you guys are doing interviews?
Yeah, like we'll do like written interviews and then it's like written into an article and stuff like that.
Blog writing is like different because you get to put so much of your own voice into it. That's like kind of what I learned at school is yeah, you can do terrible in like grade 12 English because you're writing essays and shit and like it but when you write news, like you're allowed to be a lot more, you're allowed to write a lot more how you speak, which is a lot easier for a lot of people, right? Because you don't always have the ability to switch your head to like very formal writing. So that's kind of what we focus on too, is like, obviously when I was writing, like I wrote for like a Perth newspaper, I was very like professional and proper, but you know, we're writing about music, you know, as friends, for friends, with friends. So we want to make it personal. We want to make it narrative-y and
a little flair.
Yeah, exactly.
Organic.
And like artsy, like have fun with it. And that's kind of what I focus on. And I tell anybody that writes with us is like, I'll edit it. If there's an issue, we'll fix it. But just write whatever comes to mind and like format it how you want. Like I've tons of books about how to write and like different styles, but figure out how you want to write, like find your voice.
What do you want to say prior to how are we going to present it?
Exactly.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. Like even if you like write a draft and it's not in a format we can post, like at least now you have your string of consciousness. You've written it all out.
That's
and
well
now
said,
we can break it up and work together to format it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make it applicable to a wider audience. Yeah, things like that, like apply to many people, but then they'll all get what you were trying to say at the core of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know, on that note, like what by next summer, say, like give this, you know, this whole year and everything, where do you guys, what line do you expect to be on in your plan?
So like right now we've kind of done most of what well, obviously we're doing more of it. We're not going to stop doing it, but like we're going to start doing other things on top of the written stuff. Right. So we're going to keep doing reviews, keep doing artist profiles, show reviews, that type of stuff, and just general event reviews. Keep doing our social media posts like New Music Friday and Live Music Monday and stuff like that. But we're talking about like also doing like getting into like video stuff, whether it's just like we're really into the shorts and stuff like that. Cause
that's where
commend you guys for the effort, but I'm not trying to edit like an hour-long video or something like that. So we've kind of talked about branching into like making short YouTube videos and stuff like that that are more like news oriented.
That's cool.
Obviously,
that's a really good idea.
We're getting into putting on shows and stuff like that. So by next summer, I think we'll be hopefully releasing some type of video content on YouTube, whether it's like shorts, news, interviews, hopefully maybe put on a couple more shows if we can pull it off.
You can grow your team to get somebody who's like a dedicated video editor, right?
Yeah. Damn right.
So that's what we're doing it all ourselves, but like the idea would be it'd be cool to like eventually like get a team where it'd be like, all right, so like just slap this. I mean, you can already technically do it if you pay somebody on Fiverr. Yeah. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, that's a hella good idea. So, and I mean, if I'm being completely honest, like the mindset that I'm in now is like I would do it for you guys. Like I'm not gonna charge you. I'm not gonna like if you guys just want to work together. If you need video shit edited and like say like
or if you guys want to write for us and we do some video editing for you.
Yeah, straight up. Like
that.
I'm at that point of just like it's nice to collaborate with like-minded people, you know, and like it's like I'd rather see you guys thrive and like you know and we'll keep doing our thing too and like hopefully we'll all just like get to where we need to be.
And like you were saying before, it's just about lifting each other up, like trying to help each other out, and like this is for anyone watching. Like, if you want to help us, if you want to be a part of this, if you want to get involved anyway, like hit us up. We're always open to hear from people. Always trying to hear from people. So
Jack, when I first brought up Jack writing, he was like standoffish about it. It's not something he ever did, but you know, we'll figure it out. Like we'll make it work. It's the nice part about it still being like independent is we can take our time and like work on these things and figure it out together and ultimately like the future that I see, like I just want to get more consistent about it. Like I want like a few stories a month or whatever. Like it's great that we can do what we do, but the best way to grow is just being consistent. And that's what I really want to focus on in the coming like
consistency
year
is
or two.
key for anything that you do, you know, in life. For sure, because then do you guys like sign like just Neighbourhood Noise, or do you got like when you write, do you sign your name underneath?
Like all of our articles, like the author of the article is right at the top,
it's the author. Okay,
whenever we like, if there's photos for the article that are like not just artist provided or something like that. Whoever the photographer is, whatever it's like me, you, someone from our team, someone not part of our team, we always put the photographer tags too. And so
interesting.
It's about building people up. So like, as much as we want to like grow our own brand, like we also want to grow everybody else as brands. So it's laid out almost like a news article with like a byline and everything. And I always try to link like Instagrams and everything. Like, as much as it's nice to have these people work like with us, if they want to work on their own, like I really want to help them do that. So yeah, like really focusing on giving everybody the credit they deserve and the credit of like, this is what they did, and this is where you can go check out more of that, even if it isn't with us.
That's honestly fucking sick.
Yeah.
That's what makes the world go round, man.
Assuming so, like you guys both work, right, full time. Let's say, all right, you don't have to go into details about what you do or whatever. But assuming working full time and managing all these extra kind of tasks, like you said earlier, it was like it could be considered like a full time job. What do you do to manage that? And where do you find your motivation?
I have a pretty brainless job. Like I'm just a groundskeeper, like at a cemetery. So it's pretty easy. It's the same shit day in and day out. So it is nice to be able to kind of have my mind on Neighbourhood Noise, even when I'm at my like proper job. But it's also contract work. So my contract's up in like November and then I'm out of a job. So I'm going to try to like put as much as I can, like as I look for other jobs, like full time on Neighbourhood Noise. And you know, I start early enough that like I've got loads of time in the evening. So I try to pump in as much time as I can, like after work when I'm still in that work mindset, and like do as much as I can.
Shit, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah. And like, I'm kind of in a similar boat. Like, I guess my job isn't necessarily as brainless, but it's not necessarily too busy. Like working at Long and McQuaid in Orleans, it's like, it's full time, but it's retail. And, it's fun. It's not too high stress, but like, I don't know. I love my job. I love the people I work with, but like my job pays my rent. Like this is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Well,
like
I feel
I
you on
completely
that.
understand.
We're in the same boat.
And
Like,
straight up,
we're
when
paying rent too. It's all good.
100%.
But that's,
And when I worked there, like I agree. It's like I love the job and the people and everything. And it was actually really sick. It was surrounding music. You get discounts on renting gear. That's like really beneficial for people like
really
us.
Good.
Yeah, that are trying to do shit. It's like nice to have those perks, you know. And that's the best part of what I found. And it is day to day. I just took like the best out of it that I could. Like. You know, it's like I learned something about guitar. Like some people came in and they knew way more shit than I did about like, you know, certain instruments or certain things that like horn instruments. So it's like, to be honest, I became actually a better mixer at mixing like horn sections and like fucking trumpet sections and saxophone like live at live shows because of like being around people like that. Yeah. At the work. So it's like that. I agree with you. It's like even though you're hustling, that's what you're paying. It's like you still get like something out of it.
And it's like it's. I don't know, like I don't sleep. Like I just don't really sleep that much. I'm kind of up late all the time, so I work an 8.5 hour shift, go straight to the shows right after, take photos, get home, edit them, go to bed, work the next day, kind of thing.
Hustling.
So it's just like,
that's why you will be doing this full time.
Trying to.
I hope it works out for you guys. Like, you know, it's a hard thing. It's possible. It takes a shit ton of work, and man, you know, maybe one day us, you know, we'll get there too as well. We'll be able to step away from our, you know, 9-to-5 jobs and podcast full time if we get some type of revenue.
I'm pretty confident we're all gonna do it.
I mean, it'd be cool, man.
I know I'm the optimist end of the room, but
either way, if you don't, you know, you should always still like, you know, have that factor that I did it not for, you know, necessarily like monetization, which would be nice though.
Exactly. Yeah, getting
it
paid
would just be nice to be
but
able to do it, without worrying about it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I could live happily just being able to like live the way I am now, but doing this every day. You know what I mean? Like I'd even just be good in this situation. You know, and just but every day you're just getting up and this is your fucking. You make coffee and you just sit down and you're like, hey, all right, like, yo, what's going on?
I always say making money would be nice, but it's not the goal.
Yeah.
Like if that happens through what we do, that's great. But none of the decisions I make are too like focused on making the money, because if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. But I still want to do what we're doing. Like I still want to support the 100%. People. Like we've said this whole time, like both of us, it's all about the scene and about the people.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like I picture that. Like I'm like, if I had the abundance of money coming in, it's like the first things I think is like I'd probably build like a nice place out in the woods, like a nice little venue, you know, with some sound gear and stuff that people could just go and fucking party and camp, you know, and like listen to music. I could literally pay for that. Buy my mom like a house. Mama, I got you. But, you know, shit like that. But it's just, yeah, it's feed it back into the community. It's like, I don't know. It'd be cool to have money, but it's like, and overabundance. Like when I see a lot of the people who are like, you know, they got like a mansion with like fucking 80 rooms in it, you know, 5, 6, 7 different Rolls Royce cars. Like again, do your thing with your money. Do your thing with your money. But yeah, it's like so much of that. Again, it's like it is what it is. It's your choice, I guess. You make that money, but it's just you think of the dynamic of it. It's like you could be putting that, like you could have one cool car, and like all that other value of those cars could be in something like meaningful. Yeah, you know, for other people, and that's just where I get lost in it. I don't understand it, but
well, like just going back to like you were saying about like the companies that are like. It's about like selling to play and stuff like that. Like, like just going back to like the event that we're putting out at the end of the month. Like Ethan says, like if we make money, cool. Yeah. That's not the goal. Like at the bare minimum, I'm trying to cover venue fees and pay those bands like healthy amount. You know, that's all I care about.
Cover venue fees.
I want to have a good night where everybody has a good time, supports the scene. I'm not worried about making money.
That's the goal. If anything, it's more worth it to invest into it.
Exactly, and that's it. Like we're getting shirts made, like embroidered. Like we're gonna sell. We're doing like this show. Nice. Any money that comes out of that, as we've said, like it's not going in our pockets. It's going right back in, either into like updating the website or more merch or more shows, like covering those venue fees. Like that's what's important, not making money. Like that's what the 8-hour, you know, full-time job's for. Yeah. This is to support everybody. To feed into it, yeah. It's awesome.
For some final words here, I normally ask this to everybody, but let's say, you know, for people who are listening audio and visually, what would you guys could each take a turn here, but what would you say would be like your main advice and in terms of like motivation, or maybe somebody's trying to like start something like you and they're like, oh, I don't know how to start. What would be your advice? For even art in general?
I mean, I think it's just to do it. Like, you know, I went through all 4 years of high school thinking I was going to be a mechanic, and then took a year off and then went to journalism school. Like, it was just a turn, but don't focus too much on like, oh, is it the right time? Oh, can I do it like perfectly? Like, none of that matters. Like, just do it. You'll figure it out, but you're going to be happier doing it and learning along the way, and you're going to learn more than harping on it and like thinking about it for too long and making sure it's like super perfect, because then you'll be even more disappointed if it doesn't work out.
It's so true. It goes back to the idea of enjoying the journey of it.
Exactly.
That's awesome. And what about you, Jack? Final words?
I mean, I'll have to like take a page out of Kenny Beats' book here. Sure. Like, just don't overthink shit. I've told this guy like after stuff, like, I don't know, I'm a young guy, but like I'm 21. I've spent a majority of my life being like anxious as heck and like overthinking everything, and then the last year I've kind of just decided like I'm just not gonna do that, whether or not it's a good thing. So, and like in the last year I'd say I've done like more personally fulfilling stuff,
productive shit,
and that actually like feels good in that year than like the other years of just overthinking. So just don't overthink it, just do it. If it doesn't work out, move on.
That's great. That's
great words to end on, man. And just to kind of one of the songs that we have together, Where Do We Go? That's the first line of my second verse. It's like, overthinking shit might be what I'm used to, and that's the rest of the line, whatever. But it's just cool that you said that, because that's how I've always felt. And I was like, man, you know what? I'll just go through with anxiety and just let it be a part of it, and like just enjoy it.
Lean into it. It's part of the ride.
Yeah, that's how you know you're doing it right.
It's humanizing. Exactly.
If you're not anxious, you're not putting your all into it.
That's
exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, yeah, Jack.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Jack from Neighbourhood Noise. We will be sharing all the links in the description below for anybody who's listening.
Thank you so much for having us. This has been awesome.
Thanks for coming on. It was a really cool conversation. And we'll definitely be sharing some articles.
More to come soon.
That's right.
Peace and love.
Meow.